Hello everyone, how are we doing today? Today's video is going to be about how do I overcome boredom eating. And I wanted to talk about this specifically because I've been hearing a lot about it and a lot of it lately. And I'm hoping that maybe I can help you find some other things that you can do. So I'm Kelsey Mashad, and I help people to gain control of emotional eating so they can feel healthy and confident as they make peace with food and their body. So just to let you know that I am available for complimentary consultations, and that's where we jump on the phone for about 30 minutes or so, and we can dive really deep into your own health and weight goals, and I can show you how I can take you from where you are now to where you'd like to go. So, do you ever find that when you're bored at home, and I know a lot of us are, that your mind tends to kind of wander off to the kitchen cabinets or your refrigerator, and say maybe after you polish off a snack, not long after, you're still left feeling unsatisfied? So why is it that you can't seem to stop this constant snacking or constantly thinking about going to the kitchen? So it's important to recognize that eating is a learned behavior. People are conditioned to eat at certain moments in time. Say that at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you have that mid-afternoon snack that you have, maybe after a long day at school or a long day at work. Even if we're working from home now or having school from home, same thing. You get to that point of the day and you're like, all right, snack time. Or even just we're conditioned like noontime that it's lunch, right? So you may have that ingrained in your mind that you're always supposed to eat at those particular times because that's just what you grew up learning. So it's a learned behavior. So think about a parent taking their child for ice cream, especially when they're upset about something. So they're going to take their child for ice cream when they're upset. Well, this could teach the child that eating actually will alleviate an emotional pain. So now they're learning to turn to food when they're upset. So when we eat, it actually affects our dopamine, and that's the neurotransmitter in our brain that plays a major role in our reward motivated behaviors. So basically, dopamine is the brain's desire chemical that is associated with the feeling that you get when you have achieved a goal. And it's only human, of course, that we want to feel accomplished. It has actually been found that specific foods contribute to an increase in our dopamine levels. So these foods are generally categorized as junk foods, and these as the high sugar, fat, and sodium type foods. And foods like this cause our body to release our endorphins, which are our feel-good chemicals, feel-good hormones. And if I had to assume that when you're bored, you aren't reaching for a plate of Brussels sprouts or carrots or something like that. Maybe you are, I don't know. But the University of Limerick, actually, they conducted a series of studies that indicate that boredom leads to unhealthy eating, and it's actually as it helps to distract from those unpleasant boredom experience you're feeling at that moment. So we associate certain foods with feelings, and certain feelings of enjoyment and celebration. And there's a reason that we will eat buttery popcorn at the movies and sugar-loaded cake and ice cream at birthday parties, because by eating these junk foods, we're actually trying to bring out the feeling of reward that increases our pleasure, something that we will commonly associate with our emotional eating. So as well as being, tied to emotions either sadness or anger, emotional eating is actually correlated with boredom as well. So this is because eating when you're bored, it serves as a coping mechanism for us. So snacking breaks up that monotony of our boredom, and then it raises our levels of dopamine. So in other words, we continuously will snack because it makes us temporarily excited over and over again. So unlike our physical hunger that comes on gradually, and that can be satisfied by just eating anything, about, having anything that's edible. Emotional hunger comes on suddenly, and it creates a craving for a specific food. So do you notice that after like not eating for several hours, almost anything sounds good, anything sounds appetizing at that time. But when you're bored, you can't stop thinking about maybe those chocolate chip cookies that are sitting there in the kitchen, or the pizza that keeps coming across your news feed. That, my friends, is emotional hunger. So how are we going to combat this emotional hunger? What can we do about it? Well, I have a couple of tips for you that I'm going to share that hopefully you'll find helpful. So number one is to identify your cues. It's important to be mindful of the situations when you eat out of boredom, for one, because this allows you to become more aware of when you're just needlessly eating, and it will help you actually find healthy alternatives to snacking. So instead of sitting there and just like mindlessly watching Netflix, you could actually shut the TV off and just go for a walk. Get up and move, get up and do something. Then make it a habit, at that time, to get some exercise during that time of day, maybe, a little more often, and to replace that time you would normally be snacking out of boredom with some movement or exercise. And two, you need to plan your meals. Plan those meals and snacks out before you start your day, because skipping meals causes you to get to the point that you're feeling overly hungry. So when you overeat, or you'll end up constantly snacking. So by eating in regular intervals throughout your day, you'll learn a healthier eating cycle and end up snacking less. And three, make sure that you're eating enough protein and fat throughout your day. So, while the potato, I can't talk today, while the potato chips may satisfy you, in that moment, you're going to be hungry in like an hour or so, maybe even before that. So by eating foods with healthy fat and healthy protein, you're going to feel satisfied for longer, you're going to feel fuller for longer, and your attention will not be so fixated on what your next snack will be. So for example, you could eat foods like nuts and yogurt, granola, avocados. Okay, those are going to be really nourishing to your body, and they're going to help fill you up and help you keep satiated much better, much longer. Okay, number four is to drink more water. Many people tend to confuse thirst for hunger, and symptoms of dehydration actually feel like signs of hunger, or actually the same part of your brain will actually interpret both hunger and thirst signals. It will so it's not going to be sure. So you need to determine, okay, am I just thirsty maybe? So before you go looking for a snack, try drinking a glass of water and then wait like 10 or 15 minutes. And if that feeling of that supposed hunger subsides, then you were just thirsty. And if not, you probably were hungry, and then you should grab yourself a healthy snack, something with a nice healthy fat and protein. So number five is to brush your teeth. So this can surely stop you, or stop yourself from eating when you're bored, because, or at least for me, when brushing my teeth, it triggers a sense of like my mouth feels really clean, or I'm going to bed soon. So I feel less compelled to eat another snack if I have something that stops that continuation of my eating. Plus, nothing tastes good after you brushed your teeth. So I always, well, obviously I brush my teeth before I go to bed, but it definitely deters me from wanting to snack. For myself, I count my macros, so I know exactly, like, I fill those macros, I eat exactly that, and then I know I'm done. Well, still after dinner, I may feel like, oh, I could still go for a little something, but my macros are filled, so I'm done. And I will brush my teeth right away after dinner, and then it really deters me. I really don't want to have anything at that point, because my mouth just feels nice and clean, and it feels that feeling like, okay, I'm done for the day. And one other thing too, you could have a cup of tea. Sometimes I like a nice decaf, like a herbal tea after dinner is really nice to sit with, and it helps you from wanting to snack as well. So for those of you who can relate to all of this, all you can do is just try to be more aware of your hunger cues, focus on eating healthy, and replace boredom eating with activities that have more long-lasting, fulfilling effects. So by embracing your emotions, which in this case is boredom, boredom is something you're feeling. So yes, it's an emotion. So you become more aware of your thoughts that you're telling yourself that is causing you to feel bored, and ultimately taking some powerful actions. So not because you want to get rid of boredom, but because of the wisdom offered by these very same emotions, and ultimately changing your thoughts to create an empowered version of yourself. So, question for you. In the comments below, I want to know if you are in the habit of eating out of boredom, like reaching out for something, maybe the cookies maybe they're calling your name and you're just bored, so let me grab one, or anything that may call to you when you're bored. And share with me and let me know what resonated with you within this information that I just shared with you. So above all, I hope this was helpful for you. Hi, Nan. Thanks for coming on. I'm getting ready to hop off so you can catch the replay, but we're just talking about how to combat some boredom eating, which a lot of us are doing right now. So I hope this was helpful, and if you think someone else would find it helpful, please, share it out. And as a reminder, I'm doing complimentary consultations. I have 3 spots left available this week. So that's where we just jump on the phone for about 30 minutes, and we can dive really deep into your own health and weight goals, and I can show you how I can take you from where you are now to where you'd like to go. So, hi Alicia, thanks for coming on. Again, I just mentioned that we just went over some nice tips for combating some boredom eating, which a lot of us are doing. So go back and catch the replay and let me know what you think. And I'm going to hop off and continue with the rest of my scheduled day. So I hope everyone has a beautiful day, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.